Hey, what is going on, crypto people? What in the world? The market is doing what the market does. Bitcoin over 35,000. What in the world? It's a fake out, fam. I know you don't want to hear that. I believe it to be a fake out. Listen, Mickey B. Fresh is on Crypto X saying and stating that, David Schwartz covered the whole front running thing and why it's important to have this new innovation that is the AMM, the automated market maker on the XRPL. Eleanor Terrence shares the word. It's interesting. Grayscale is hooking up with another company to put out a crypto index series. That is interesting to me. Jimmy Jane Kennedy filing reminds us that Judge Torres has officially put the word out on the case being dismissed with Brad Garlinghouse and Chris Larson. That is great stuff. Whoa, Jake on Crypto X XRPL is not a DAO, and it ain't Congress either. We'll get into that. You know my thoughts on that whole decision that the dev community made way back yonder in the beginning days of Ripple. We'll cover that as well. So listen, guys, this is your XRP Ripple daily news. And around 0 to 10 freaking minutes, let's do it. Let's go over the numbers. Let's go over the numbers. You guys said you can stomach it. I'm going to go over it. Let me refresh that. So Bitcoin hit over 35K late last night. My guy, Garrett Soloway, took some profit at 31, took some again at 34, I guess, and then began to short when it hit 35. But he's a swing trader. He's a swing trader. I'm not a swing trader. I'm not swing trading any longer. I did do it for a period of time, tested it out. Love it during the bear market for sure. During bear market periods for sure, but I'm not currently doing it. I will do it in the future with Garrett. He's a smart guy. His win rate for swing trading is it's massive. It's ginormous. The dude is good at what he does. But let's go over these numbers. According to CoinGecko, screw coin market cap. According to CoinGecko, the total cryptocurrency market cap is at 1.31 trillion. 1.31 trillion. Bitcoin dominance is at, I'm guessing, I can't see it here. I'm sure it's around 49%, if not more. It was at 49.9, so it's probably over 50% now. Bitcoin is trading at $34,280. Interesting. It's up 21% on a 7-day. Ethereum is trading at $1,800. Now, Ethereum might be something to take profit on. I did not take any profit on my Bitcoin. My goal is to stack Bitcoin. I'm going to take, the 40 to 60% per year of gains. That's just my plan. My goal. I'm not telling you what to do. If you're a Bitcoin, they're saying this is what I'm doing with my Bitcoin. And because I don't own enough of it. And so I'm looking for the 40 to 60% every year because the macro picture is the fact of the matter is the big central banks around the world are debasing the fiat currency. So trading out of it into that dirty, nasty fiat doesn't make sense because we're not winning. We're not winning. Most people are not beating inflation and what it is that they're doing. So that's just my strategy. Shout out to the new GWW, the Generational Wealth Wednesday Mastermind Group, GWW Mastermind. Shout out to the team there. Ethereum is at $1,818. And XRP is at 57 cents. Earlier was at 58 cents. Cool. It's awesome. It's up, 17% on the 7-day? Cool. Great. I just will remind everyone that the total cryptocurrency market cap at one time was over 3 trillion. Look, again, if you're swing trading, cool. If you have some hopes for the bull run, I don't want to crush them. I'm just stating what I believe. I think this is just a fake out. Even if it gets up to 38, I still think it's a fake out. My humble opinion. So we'll see how that goes. Those are the numbers, fam. Those are the freaking numbers. Mickey B. Fresh is saying something I think is hugely important to understand, kind of get. Mickey B. Fresh says, wondering if risk of front running is a reason to oppose the AMM. Will front running be amplified or lessened by AMM pools proposed in the XLS30D amendment on the XRPL decentralized exchange? We go to the source, says Mickey B. Fresh, to find out. Joel Katz, David Schwartz himself, breaking down front running on the XRPL DEX. Now, I shared this little talk with you guys, but let's go over it again here real quick.
Like we want the XRP ledger to be popular, and so that's not necessarily, that's not, it's to an extent it's a bad thing because we don't want a lot of front running, but obviously we don't want to like not grow the ledger because of front running. The extent to which I think that that's not true though is that the AMM amendment increases liquidity and reduces spreads, and the opportunity to front run, the bigger the spread and the lower the liquidity, the more effective front running is. So if we tighten spreads and reduce liquidity, overall front running will be less effective. But I do think it's possible that we will see an issue. I mean, it's not technically front running; it's a form of arbitrage. But it is a case where arbitrageurs profit at the expense of traders. And if we do see more of that, we do have some suggestions for techniques to combat it. It's just I don't think we exactly know like what that's going to look like for real. But I don't think that's a reason to oppose the AMM amendment again, because that would be, if we have a problem with front running, it's going to be because the AMM amendment has made the DEX very, very popular, and that would be a good problem to have.
1000%. Can't agree with him more.
But this is the value proposition for XRP according to David Schwartz.
The value proposition of XRP is that it has these liquidity pools.
The value proposition of XRP is that it has liquidity pools. Wojak shares something that I think is important, and I've said this. I believe the dev community did these things to themselves back in 2012 or whenever Ripple got started. They have to deal with it. They have to deal with what happened back then. And I get it. You may be a dev, say, I wasn't around back then. That's where the issue started. The issue started when the dev community, I don't care if it was just David Schwartz and Arthur Britto and was Jed McCaleb. Those guys are developers. They made a decision. They made a decision to not create a DAO and to go work for someone else, essentially handing the reins, if you will, of influence to a company. They did that. Here's what Wojak says. He says, hashtag XRPL. I am very busy with my personal matters right now. What I like to say is please learn before you speak, or you may likely spread misinformation and confusion. This is what he says. The XRPL is not a DAO, not a Congress, not a government. It is spread out. So again, the XRPL, right, this community, this is the challenge. If there's a process that is for an amendment, for a proposal, and that process begins with a review by a company first, and then it goes to the dev community, it's hard to think decentralized, in my opinion. But it's hard to think a DAO or anything like that, in my opinion. That's not the case. And so, listen, this is just the crypto seeds, just thoughts. You can have your own personal thoughts if you want. It's cool. We can always agree to disagree. But if the Hooks Amendment and the people who were excited about it, the people who were like, oh my God, my project is going to be able to finally launch on this XRPL because of Hooks and the ability for smart contract capability. Several projects I know, several waiting for Hooks, some type of smart contract capability on the XRPL. If the process is that amendment, that idea, that concept has to first be reviewed by Ripple before it can even get to a voting start. And you're going to tell me that you don't feel a certain kind of way because it didn't even get to the review process? You're telling me you don't feel a certain kind of way about that. You put your blood, sweat, and tears into your project that requires smart contract capability on the ledger. Your heart and soul is wanting to build your project on the ledger. However, it requires smart contract capability. And Ripple doesn't even review it. And you're trying to tell me you don't feel a certain kind of way about what Ripple wants to do with this AMM, and your thing didn't even get the review process? Come on, Man, what you got? You have a Saint in front of your name? Are you're a Saint XRPL developer? That's your name? Come. I'm not trying to say you're being vindictive. I'm not trying to say that you're trying to seek revenge, but come on, bro. Your thing, the thing that was going to, your dream come true to get your project launched on the XRPL didn't even get reviewed. And you're not going to feel a certain way about the automated market maker proposal? Yeah, I'm not buying that. I ain't buying it. Hey, maybe you need some time and you're going to let it, slowly get out of your system. But you can't tell me you don't feel a certain way. That it didn't even get reviewed, no shot. No, sorry. I'm sorry, bro. No, you can't tell me that. But again, you got to go back to the beginning days of Ripple. The dev community decided to go work for a company and essentially hand over that whole DAO concept. That's what they did. Like it or lump it, leave it or lump it, whatever that saying is, that's what happened. Now you can try to do something to change this process of it first has to be reviewed by Ripple. Now look, I would make the argument that Ripple has been a good stewardship of the XRP and escrow and of the XRPL. I don't think anyone can make that argument. So, but you can't tell me that you don't feel a certain way, but your thing did not. The thing that was going to leap was going to take your project and be able to be put on the XRPL. It wasn't even reviewed. It wasn't even considered. You don't feel a certain way. There's no way you can convince me of that. No way you can convince me of that you don't feel a certain way. So, hold on one second here. Let's see if I can't do this. I hope that worked good. I had to pause the recording there real quick. Listen, Ellen put something out. This is interesting. New Grayscale is partnering with FTSE Russell. Don't know who FTS Russell is, to launch a crypto sector index series, which will separate the asset class into 5 main indices: currencies, smart contract platforms, financials, consumer and culture, and utilities and services, and will include coverage of over 150 protocols. I like it. I like it. Good for them. Currencies, smart contract platforms. Interesting. Shout out to Ellen and Tara for sharing that. Jeremy Hogan shared this, and look, here it is. Justin from Whale, Blackrock spot ETF is now listed on the Nasdaq trade clearing firm. Jeremy Hogan has this to say about this listing on Nasdaq. The Bitcoin ETF's listing on Nasdaq is only evidence of BlackRock's confidence that its ETF will be approved by the SEC. It's like cleaning up your bedroom and making sure your roomie is out of the apartment all night. It might not happen this date, but you got a good feeling. Indeed. Here's from Jimmy James K. filing. Look, breaking: Judge Torres signs order officially dismissing the case against Brad Garlinghouse and Chris Lawson. The Honorable Annalisa Torres. How freaking about that? That's good stuff right there. Here it is here. He says the next step, according to Flip the Chain, after the BlackRock Bitcoin spot ETF being listed on the NASDAQ, the next step, he says this is the step before actually listing the Bitcoin ETF on the NASDAQ stock exchange. Okay, so breaking news: BlackRock Bitcoin spot ETF listed on the DTCC, Depository Trust and Clearance Corporation website. So listed on NASDAQ, it's on the DTCC website. Why is this important? Says Flip the Chain. This is the step before actually listing on the NASDAQ stock. This explains the increase in the Bitcoin price. So it's on the DTCC as well. Look, I'm going to share this as I think this is hugely important. Then I'm going to get to more positive news. But let me share what Lynn Alden says here. Lynn Alden, very, very smart macro investor, strategist, economist. I don't know if she's an economist. If you are excited by Bitcoin pumping in price, take a chill pill, says Lynn. You did this last cycle. Don't count every 1,000K, please. If you're confused by why Bitcoin is pumping, spend a couple 100 hours on it. It's bigger than you think, and institutional capital now understands this. Look, I listened to Raoul Paul the other day say, just because there's an ETF doesn't mean anyone's buying it. Institutions, when he says anyone, institutions, hedge funds, family offices. It would be great for retail, but retail is not going to move the market. I also saw a post just here recently that, it was from, the gold guy, Peter Schiff, who's basically saying, a lot of people think that when this ETF comes, people are going to be buying. He said, you will be alarmed to find out what most people will be selling. This is something that's disturbing. This is kind of more on the GWW front, or that talk Thursday front that we like to do. This is from Wall Street Silver. He says, this is the El Salvador president, the guy who is doing the Bitcoin thing and made Bitcoin legal tender. El Salvador president Nayib Bukele with Tucker Carlson. Take a listen to this.
The demise of the U.S. has to come from within. Right? The enemies have to be inside.
The demise of the U.S. have to come from within. The enemies have to be inside. I just think it's hugely important to understand the reality of the situation so that we can be aware of what's going on. The enemy has infiltrated on the inside. That is a fact. I feel for the, look, it's not just Ethereum, it's other spots and places as well. But I do feel for the Ethereum community and the dev community because they weren't part of that stuff. It's not their fault. New projects coming to build on Ethereum, new devs coming to build projects on Ethereum. It's not their fault that Lubin and Vitalik and people at that foundation sacrifice their country for personal profits and let the enemy in. This is coming from the El Salvador president. What, you think he's just reading the papers? Or do you think that he knows some stuff?
Not really outside. No external enemy can cause so much damage as internal. It's an internal operation. You're watching internal operations here. You can see them in cities that were pristinely beautiful 30 years ago are wastelands right now. You would see people. I mean, I'm from El Salvador, a third world country in Central America, and myself, I can see cities here and say, I want to live here. So that would be unthinkable 3 decades ago. Totally unthinkable. That a Salvadoran wouldn't want to live in a U.S. city, in a U.S. main city. I mean, Los Angeles, New York, Chicago, yeah. Well, Philadelphia, Baltimore. When you look how the cities are eroding so fast, this has to be by design. I mean, who would make so many stupid decisions? Like, okay, we're gonna give you money for drugs. But really, they're doing that. In some cities, they're giving people drugs. I mean, they're literally giving people drugs in some U.S. cities. Or they say, okay, we're gonna give you money if you don't work. Or we're gonna, they make all of this law.
Hey, what can I say? What can I say? He speaks some wisdom right there. So you could take it for what it's worth, but it's an inside job without question. And who has allowed this to take place? I just saw something on X the other day. I wish I had it pulled up for you guys, but it said Charles Schwab was bragging about the fact that the World Economic Forum freaking academy institution of young global leaders have infiltrated places like Argentina. in other countries and bragged about it. You know, this is the guy who says you will own nothing and be happy about it. And he bragged about that. You know, he bragged about having his people on the inside. We need someone in a position of leadership that can kick those dudes, those young people, those dudes, the enemies out of the country. We have to clean house first, in my humble opinion. Now, this is some really great news coming from Zum Wallet, and I'll end on this. Zum Wallet says 602,989 active users in the past 3 months. That is a ginormous number. When it comes to real adoption, we're only just dipping our toes. Zum, 10 times more retail friendly with a redesign we're working on. Liquidity, 10 times better with the automated market maker and more DEX activity, without question. DAO slant hooks enables 10 times more use cases. Shout out to Beats Win and the team over there at Zum for doing their thing. You got to get the work. You're not happy about something, get the work on your thing. You got to get the work. Like, get the word out about how awesome. And, you know, sometimes you got to put the blinders on and do work, but there are other times you got to make posts like this. Let the world know. Let the world know you are here. Shout out to the team at Zum Wallet. All right, guys, listen, this wraps up your XRP Ripple daily news in around 0 to 10 minutes. I hope that it has been of value to you. If it has, do me a favor, hit that like button. It helps with the algorithm on YouTube for sure. And if you've been hanging out, listening to and watching the Crypto Seas and haven't subscribed yet, if you enjoyed this hangout and other hangouts, please consider subscribing to the channel. And don't forget to ring that notification bell so that you know whenever we go live or whenever we upload a video. I'm going to end this video like I do all of my videos and remind you guys of this, that old money doesn't want you to win. But that's okay, though, because you and I, we're already winning. Ha ha! I'll talk to you soon, guys. See ya.